Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be taking you through the installation of an awning on a VW Crafter medium wheelbase van that's fitted with a pop top. Unlike normal awning installations that require us to fix onto the roof of the van where the roof mounts normally sit, because there's a pop top in the way, we're going to have to use a wall mounted awning for this installation. We're going to be using a Thule Omnistor 5200 awning at 3.15 meters long, and we're going to combine this with the Vamoose combi rail and adapter brackets to fit this to the side of the van above the sliding door. I hope you find this video useful, and let's check out the components. So here's the Vamoose combi rail. You can see it's a bit of profile that fits onto the side of the van. We've got this one in black to link in well with the colour scheme of the Crafter. You can see there's some holes there which will be for the self-tapping screws, and this is essentially screwed and bonded to the side of the van. You get some wipes in the kit along with some screws and some end caps for the front piece, which is there, and the rearmost piece, which is here. You also get some sealant adhesive, obviously, to seal this onto the van itself, and you get a set of pretty comprehensive instructions. So we'll go through these steps. We've also got here the universal adapters for the awnings. These will sit on the actual combi rail itself and allow us to fix the awning onto these brackets and therefore to the side of the van. You get 4 of these adapters, again with some pretty comprehensive instructions. The last thing in this install is the actual awning itself. So you can see the first step on the instructions is to identify the start point, which is this seam here. You can see the seam which joins the top left corner of the sliding door. And what you have to do is mark 30 millimeters up from the door shut, and that's the height that we're going to have the bottom of the awning rail. So I've marked that start point with an X on the seam and 30 mil up, and then I've gone down the van with bits of tape, and again I've measured up 30 millimeters and put a pencil mark. 30 millimeters, put a pencil mark all the way down the van. And what I've now doing is just connecting those lines with a piece of tape. 30 millimeters, and this is the tape line that we're going to put the awning rail, the Vamoose combi rail, onto, and then we'll pilot hole, screw it on, dry fit it. We'll dry fit it so that we're happy bending it to the shape of the van roof, as it's slightly malleable, and then we'll take it off, wipe all the drill holes and get all the swarf off with the supplied wipe the back of the rail, and then put a bead of adhesive on the back, and then lift it up and then use the black screws to screw it into place. Now that I've marked up the position of the combi rail, I'm going to dry fit it to the van using these silver screws that are supplied. And these are self-drilling screws, so you can see on the end they've got a drill bit before the thread, and that means that you don't have to pilot hole with a drill in order to get these to tap through the metal of the van. So I'll do that now and then show you what it looks like. So just fitting the combi rail, and you can see how the rail is obviously straight, but then there's a slight curve on the van. So what we can do is we can actually bend the rail to fit the shape of the van. So I'll bend it into position, and now I'll screw it into place. Where this crosses here, I'm going to make another pilot hole, countersink it, and add a screw. Where you can see the screw, the self-tapping screw has pulled the metal slightly, so that's not sitting flush anymore. It's enlarged that circle. Before we put the new screw in, I'll just tap that with a punch and a hammer to flatten that off, and that will sort of give the hole its smaller diameter back so that it will grip the thread. You can see this one here is what it should look like. Obviously I've gone a bit too tight with the screw gun on this, and it's pulled the metal a bit. So you can see I've taped up all around the Vamoose combi rail, just leaving a mill around the outside. I've used this pink Tessa tape, which is really good, and what I'll do is I'll now run a clear bead of Stixel just around the whole outside, and that will seal all of the fixing points, and it will just provide a nice seal around the outside of this combi rail. So now the rail is sealed on and screwed on with those screws. I've put the front and the rear pieces on as well. I'm now fitting these brackets, 1, 2, 1 in the middle and 3, one either end. And what we're going to do is just mark on with a permanent pen where we want to put these riv nuts. The riv nuts will then go where the permanent pen is, and we'll fix the back of these brackets in using these supplied bolts here. So now the holes have been drilled to 9mm. We've got our riv nut, one of our riv nuts here, you see. We're just going to get that in there. There's one, and I'll do the second one now. So now the riv nuts are installed, I'm going to put a gunk of Stixel inside the thread and all around just to create a watertight seal. I'll do that on both of them, and then I will, oh there we go, I will bolt the brackets in. And there you can see the clear sealant and Stixel covering those to create a watertight seal. Just put this on top like that, line up the riv nuts, and then I'll put the bolts in with a washer. So it's now bolted down through the riv nuts. You've got this hook clasp here that just fits on like this, and then you whack your M10s with a washer on there. So this base plate here is what actually secures onto the bracket, and it's this base plate that is adjustable. You can adjust the height. I'm going to put it in the lowest setting. When I get the awning up, I'll be able to lift it up and level it. And you can see obviously the other plates will have slightly different heights because of the curve of the van, and then it's bolted on the back. And then you can see the 2 holes at the bottom. They're what the bolts go up through and attach onto the awning itself. Now you can see underneath these brackets here are 2 holes. I'm just going to use a 3.5mm drill bit and then secure through those holes into the casing as well. Now I've wound the awning fully out. You can see the legs are down. What I'm doing now is I'm just fixing the screws up through the bracket and into the case of the awning. So I've piloted with a 3.5mm, and then we've just got to get these in here. So I've screwed up through the case of the awning, and now I need to apply these M4 nylon nuts onto the end. It's really fiddly. I managed to get, I can't, because you can't see, so you have to see with your fingers. I'm just getting it on loosely, and then I've got a little Baco 7mm socket. Try and find that, there we go, that's on. And tighten it up. And that's on good. Done all 3 brackets. I'll wind the awning in now. So here you can see the awning and the pop top side by side, and how those brackets have just brought the awning off to the side, so it's a wall mounted awning. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. Do like and subscribe to our channel for more van life content, and I'll see you next time.